Did someone ask for Patchy? Well, there he is, folks. They have fitted him with some nice prosthetics, and he is now fighting for me rather than against me. And here he is defending his city. This battle actually already took place in a previous video, is where I showed you the charge of the Patches. In brilliant heir of Carthage form, I forgot to save my game. So here I am refighting that battle. And you know what else stinks? That amazing victory I pulled off over that huge Prussian army? Yeah, I lost it, and chances are I won't be able to recreate it. So anyway, here's the Patchies busting out the windows and taking some shots, and it's really too bad they have to bust out those windows, because you know they can't afford new ones. So, in any case, you can see the terrible accuracy of my Patchy troops, and there is Patchy himself standing outside the front door, as he's not really able to get inside. His prosthetics look good, but they really limit his mobility. In any case, I've got basically just, you can see down there in my toolbar, I've got 4 units of basically just the Firelock Armed Populace. This is kind of a good way to defend. This army, I might be able to shoot down all these horses before they get into a melee with me, but if one of them does get into a melee, they're going to kill all your Armed Populace. So it's best just to put your men in buildings. And we're going to have to go out and take care of that artillery piece too. I just thought it might be funny to kind of show you some of this footage for all of you huge Patchy fans out there. I know I'm a fan of Patchy. He's a brave individual. And so I'm going to bring you, here in just a moment, Charge of the Patchies, Part 2. So brace yourself. So here it is in all of its slow motion glory. The Prussians reloading the cannon in a hurried attempt. We have to stop the Patchies. So there they are reloading, but it is futile. There is nothing you can do about this mob of stinky, lice-ridden, parasite-filled men who are going to come and club you to death because they ran out of ammo due to their inability to afford any more. So there they are, starting the fight with these Prussian artillery crew. That was actually really funny. It almost looked like that Patchy was giving him a kiss, which is kind of gross. Not really gonna question what was going on there. In any case, there's the Prussian artillery crew riding away. That horse isn't really walking though, it's just kind of sliding on the snow. That's pretty cool. Oh man, you gotta love some of these game glitches. Check out that duel going on between the Patchy there and that guy. They're just like duking it out, martial arts style, dodging shots. Of course, the Patchy's only weapon really is to basically club someone to death. So I would think these artillery crew with swords would actually be faring pretty well. Ooh, check it out. Near miss. Near miss. So let's see what happens if this guy can defend himself against all of the poor soldiers. I think he's going to choose to run instead. He's like, that's to this. I actually got to eat breakfast, so I'm going to run away. Oh, there he goes. Patchy finishes him by breaking his skull with the butt of a musket. Anyway, there you go. That was a fun, heroic Patchy victory. So back to the actual campaign now. Again, I had my mic turned off when I was narrating this last night, so this is an afterwards narration. Here's those Prussian troops. I actually retreated from that giant Prussian army this time, thinking that maybe I can regroup and fight this in a better position. So here I'm kind of thinking about what to do with my troops, considering whether I should pull them back or whether I should proactively attack those Prussians. I'm just really not sure because I don't have the money to even retrain my troops, much less train any more troops, because basically since I have no trade and no sea trade, it's really hard for me to maintain armies. It was really bad of me to get in the fight with Courland, but hey, I'm not taking back that decision. Those jerks can't have my city, and if the whole world hates me because of it, then that's the way it's going to be. I do need to take out these Austrians, though, in Silesia. I need to take over this province. And I just noticed something. Is it just me, or is it different on Napoleon Total War? I was thinking you could loot cities, but I actually haven't gotten to loot any cities, and that's kind of irritating. So I attacked the Austrians, and I forgot they were in a fort, so this is actually going to be a risky piece of business, because when you're fighting an opponent who is in a fort, they have like insane morale, and they will fight to the death. So really one of your best options for taking a fort is to basically just running around your opponent and trying to get some troops into the center of the fort and capture it, kind of like you can capture the town center in Rome Total War siege battles. That's really your best bet, because I mean the enemy is just going to fight and fight and fight to the death. So here's my militia. They're using ropes to pull themselves up the walls. I've never really showed you too many siege battles in this game, so some of you might find this interesting if you've never seen it before. And siege battles in Napoleon are similar, not exactly the same, but there's not as many of them, I think, too, because forts on Napoleon seem to cost a lot more money to build. At least that's been my experience. But yeah, so there you can see my men scaling the wall, and basically I'm just trying to get them up there and get them into melee, have my militia occupy the attention of the Austrians, and I'm not really worried if I lose a bunch of these militia, because number one, the more of them that die, that's just less upkeep cost for me, and number two, they're militia troops, and so I'm not really going to retrain them. In fact, the only reason I have those militia troops is because whenever Austria marched and took Poland, or took Warsaw from me, back in that huge bunch of turns that got skipped, Austria was in control of that city, and actually there was a rebel Polish army that formed right when I attacked the city. And so whenever I defeated the Austrians, I got to keep the rebel troops, which was a whole bunch of militia, so it was actually kind of handy. I got some troops on it. But yeah, I'm definitely having a hard time in this campaign because of what happened with Courland, and everybody hates me and I don't have any trade, so... But the problem is I don't have any money to like pay people off so that they like me. Again, so man, it's just been rough. So my best bet is to just conquer some territory in order to get some income going on. So you can now see my men are swarming the walls. I've got my line infantry coming up relatively unopposed, and that's good because my line infantry are going to be better in a melee, and I definitely want them up and over the walls. And I've now captured that gatehouse, and I can start to pull my cavalry up as well here in a moment. The Austrians are putting up a decent fight, and considering how bad the computer usually is on a siege battle with their pathfinding and fighting, I have to give the computer credit. They're actually doing a fairly decent job on this one. So they've actually gotten some cavalry and some infantry that are attacking my forces while I'm going up the wall. They actually routed some of my militia units, and they're doing okay. But, you know, it's the AI, so it's really only a matter of time before they pretty much screw up somewhere. But I'm definitely actually worried about winning this battle because, like I said, the fort battles, that's the reason why the auto-resolve was giving the Austrians such a good chance. And to be honest, usually I say that the auto-resolve is a ripoff. In this case, it's not. Because I promise you, I've defended forts with like little ragtag armies and beaten back like whole bunches of line infantry and stuff. Like I said, it's that morale factor. The morale that the fort gives your men is absolutely unbelievable. They'll just sit there and waver and waver and waver, but they'll never rout. They'll basically fight to the death, even just armed citizenry. So yeah, that's if you ever are way outnumbered trying to defend a fort, it's okay to go ahead and try and defend it. Because like I said, your men's morale is outstanding and you can pull off a lot of stuff. So I'm going to use my cavalry to take out that artillery piece over there, and then I'm going to move the rest of my cavalry inside the fort and start trying to capture the center of the fort there, because then it'll just give me a 2-minute countdown. And once that countdown's complete, regardless of whether the Austrians are dead, then I win the battle. So I'm not going to engage all of my troops in melee here because I kind of want to minimize the number of losses I take in the melee. Because, like I said, retraining my line infantry I just don't have the money to do. But taking Silesia will add another province to, you know, my territory, which will of course help with my overall income and my ability to sustain troops. And eventually, if I can get people to stop hating me, then I could get some good trade routes going. But that's gonna be up to question, because I mean, you saw whenever I pulled up that political map, pretty much it's air versus the world here. So I guess the whole world hates Poland because of what we did to Courland. But again, I do not regret what I did to Courland in the full sense. Like, in some ways I regret that Courland had to take that city, because there's no way I was letting them keep my city. That's ridiculous. Anyway, here I am. I've moved into the center of the fort. You can see the countdown timing down now. And so I'm just going to keep the Austrians busy and make sure that they don't get back into the center of that fort and reset the timer, because it's much like Rome Total War, where if you get in the town center, all they have to do is get one troop back on the town center, and then it turns off the timer again until the town center is completely controlled by your own men. Yeah, that's pretty well got this battle under control now. I was worried about it at first, but now I've got it handled. I hope you all are enjoying this Poland campaign. I sure am. I actually really like playing the Poland campaign. I really like a lot of the campaigns on Empire Total War, to be honest. It's very fun. Just because, I mean, it's like the globe is your battlefield. It's just really neat. I really like it. And I also really like the campaign on Napoleon Total War, and one reason is because it lets me loot cities, dadgummit, whenever I take a city. I thought it let you do something like that in Empire. Am I crazy? Because every city I took on here, it never gave me an option on whether to occupy it peacefully, loot it, or liberate it. I'm guessing that must have been a Napoleon Total War edition. So it's really kind of irritating that it doesn't give me that option. In any case, if you know the explanation of that, please leave it in the comments. I'd like to hear if someone knows for sure. Because on Napoleon Total War, that's one way I like to make money. In fact, I was playing an Austrian campaign on Napoleon Total War the other day just for fun. And I took Istanbul from the Ottomans. And of course, I just looted the crap out of it. I got like 30-something thousand cash from looting Istanbul. And then I just took my army and left. And let the town revolt. And then, so, you know, a rebel army pops up, the Ottomans take it back, and then I just marched my army right back down there again, captured it again, and looted the city. Oh, it was great. I love doing that. So I looted the city twice before I actually decided to stay. Needless to say, the populace was unhappy with me, but my gosh, I got so much money that I upgraded like every single building in my empire and was able to recruit new troops. Because I'll tell you what, man, when you're playing the Austrian campaign, it is nothing but non-stop, wave after wave of French. Alright, so here we are back in the campaign map after that battle. Silesia is now under my control, which is good. It's been a long time in the making. You can actually see the Austrians have taken a bit of a beating. They've probably been fighting with the Prussians, and Prussian troops are just better than the Austrian and Polish troops. And so that's why I'm having such a hard time with them as well. So, and then not to mention the Prussians have a couple of big cities, plus they probably have some trade going on, and they're just able to sustain a lot more troops than I am for some reason. I mean, I have quite a few provinces, but really only a couple of them are decent-sized cities, and then I don't have the trade income, which is a huge hurt on me. So I've got to see if I can try and convince someone to be my trade partner again. I desperately need the trade income, because I need to retrain my troops. I can't upgrade any of my buildings. I mean, it's just a sad situation. Anyway, I did manage to research some, I guess, some economic technology there. I couldn't really read it because I'm commenting on this in the software editor. I do need to repair this building in Silesia. It's going to take all my money, so again, I can't retrain any of my troops, which is going to make it hard for me to push forward. I mean, I could push forward and probably take the Austrian city there, but then the Prussians have that huge army right across from me, and that's just going to be a huge issue. And I don't really know how I'm going to take care of this situation quite yet. I'll just figure it out when the time arrives. I have this army here, and I kind of want to be defensive with them, but at the same time, I was thinking about marching out to one of these bridges. And if I can get the Prussians to attack me on one of the bridges, then it would allow me to fight them in a bottleneck and possibly deal their army a massive defeat. At least that's my thinking. We'll see if it actually turns out that way. A lot of times my ideas tend to backfire. Plus, I'm raiding that trade route, so hopefully that'll provide a little bit of income for me as well, and keep the Prussians from gaining any income. But yeah, it's going to be rough going because I just don't have that many troops, and the Prussians do. Here they are attacking me after I ended a turn. Yeah, by the way, I'm not showing you the turn ending, so if you're wondering why it's skipping around, that's why. Yeah, they outnumber me bad, and then not to mention they actually have an army that's going to start behind me, which is really bad. That kind of negates my advantage from fighting them across a river. So we'll see you on the battle map. Right, here we are. The Prussians are charging across. There's some Death's Head Hussars getting absolutely cut down. And taking out the cavalry is going to be easy. The problem is that I realized here I don't have fire by rank. And I just made a huge mistake in coming to fight this. Because I don't have fire by rank, I just don't have enough firepower to mow down these Prussian infantry coming across the bridge. So, yeah, and then this army started behind me, and I can only spare one unit of line infantry and my cavalry to try and take these guys out. And one of them's formed into a square, so it screwed up all my cav. And then the other one is shooting at my line infantry, and there's more of them, and they're better than my line infantry, so I'm really just screwed up. Not a good situation for me. It was really dumb of me to pick this fight. I'm going to lose my army, and then I'm really not going to have much money to rebuild it with, if any money. So this was just stupid. There you go. So some of you get sick of seeing me win all the time. I'm definitely I definitely didn't make a smart decision by choosing to fight this Prussian army. I should have just stayed in my city and defended. And one good way to defend your cities is you can kind of position your troops behind all the buildings in your city, and the AI will march through all those buildings and then come out scattered and out of position, and you can use that opportunity to shoot the snot out of them. But I mean, I'm going to cause the Prussians some pretty good numbers, but look at all the Prussian troops on the other side of that bridge. Without me having fire by rank, plus this isn't Napoleon Total War, my guys don't reload that fast. So I mean, there is no way I can shoot down all these troops when they're coming across the bridge. And what I should have done was I should have set up a kiting system to where I had one unit in front of one, in front of another. That way I had kind of like a 3-line deep formation at each bridge. And then I should have just fired, retreated, fired, retreated, fired, and just continued to retreat behind my own guys to cause as much casualties as possible. I'm not sure that I would have been able to actually win the fight. In fact, I don't know how I won this fight on the other video, but I wish I could have pulled it off again. I sure enough didn't, so for me not saving my game, this is going to be the price that I pay. So here's the Prussians marching through. My guys are shooting them very, you know, in a very good set for me. The Prussians are all bottled up. My men are shooting, getting lots of kills, but as you can see, that just I don't have the firepower to absolutely knock these guys out. Plus, my units are depleted, and all the Prussians have to do is just come through into a melee, and I'm finished. And you can see that's exactly what they're doing. So, for once in the very long history of Total War games, the computer, or I say Total War games, Empire Total War, for once the computer's giant blob of melee rush tactic is actually a good tactic. And it's actually their best tactic. And sure enough, they're going to manage to use it and kill a whole bunch of my troops. So this is just kind of irritating for me at this point because I see that I'm completely defeated. But I decide to go ahead and try and fight and just deal the Prussians as many casualties as I can. And that'll be my best bet, because that way if they do come back to attack me later, hopefully their army will be tattered. But it seems that Prussia has limitless funds for troops, so I don't know if it'll really do me a whole lot of good in the long run. Yeah, I really need to get some trade partners out of the campaign map. It is killing me to not have trade partners. So I've definitely got to do something about that. Now this strategy actually works really well. If you can put your troops 3 lines deep, and then you have a kind of a U shape on either side of the river, that way your troops just pour fire by rank onto the troops coming across. Then you can rout them, but without fire by rank, this just didn't work. So don't try this particular strategy whenever you don't have fire by rank. Now I am going to send my guys into square, because on Empire Total War it actually does give you a little bit of a melee bonus to be in square even against infantry, unless they patched it and changed that. Of course, it's not going to make any difference for me because I don't have enough men to fight off all those Prussians, but like I said. And then here I wasn't paying attention, and I got my general killed, so that was absolutely brilliant. Oh man, this battle just went from bad to worse for me the entire time. So this is a dark day for Poland, and I'm just going to have to try and redeem myself later on the campaign map. This is just a huge mistake. So yeah, this is one of those lessons where the Heir of Carthage teaches you what not to do, and you just really shouldn't use this strategy until you have fire by rank. Otherwise, it works extremely well, and I think you can see why it works extremely well. But my guys just don't have the firepower to destroy this many troops, even though I have the bottlenecks. Yeah, it's a cold and bitter day for Poland. Poor Poland, being dealt a massive defeat by Prussia. But, oh well, we'll regroup. You know, I'll make the best of it somehow, figure out a way to try and make it right. I am killing quite a few of these troops over here, which is good. Like I said, I'll take out a lot of them, but the Prussians absolutely wasted me on the other side, and so they're going to have plenty of troops left over to take me out. So, this battle's pretty much over. Hope you enjoyed me showing you there what turned out to be a bad idea. So, yeah, take a lesson from me and learn from it. I know my Polish troops are going to be angry, as they were completely betrayed by me and sent to their death, even more so than usual. I mean, it is pretty usual for me to send them to their death. Well, I'll see you back on the campaign map. Alright, there's the results. There's what's left of my once fairly sizable army. Oh boy, that was bad. So, just letting this turn end, and basically things have gone kind of south there for me, but I did manage to take Silesia. I will actually have a little bit of money on the start of the next turn, mainly because my army is gone, and so it'll leave me with some funds. But I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I did save my game, so we'll pick it back up from here next time, and I'll let you know what the results of this fight was. Hope you enjoyed the Poland campaign episode.